Welcome to Tales of the Night Sky. In these podcasts, I'll be telling you ancient stories and astral myths about the stars and constellations. Welcome back. This episode brings together and concludes episodes 4 and 5. Join Perseus mid-flight as he is about to seal Medusa's fate and change the course of Andromeda's destiny.
Perseus.
A hero. You're a hero.
The sun blazes. His hot skin trails sweat. The drops slide down his back into the infinite blue. Eyes fixed ahead, muscles engaged, body angled forwards, breath tight. He skims past a cloud. The cold vapour on his skin brings relief. Wind currents rise in opposition to his flight. He strains against them. He is flying eastwards to the ends of the earth, through this never-ending blue, nearing the culmination of his mission and the Gorgon's island. He has never felt so uneasy.
You're a hero.
His mother, Danaë, thinks so. He sees her eyes sketched into the sky ahead. Slanted green flecked with gold, her wide mouth, heavy braided hair, little hands pulling ceaselessly at the threads of her robe as she sat by his bedside, telling him the stories of their lives in little fragments. Like a girl sharing a secret.
Perseus, my son, my darling. He built a bronze cell and locked me inside, my own father. Can you believe such a... Zeus appeared as a shower of gold, pleasure, warmth, and you were born. My father cast us out to sea in a chest when you were a baby, my love. And the waves washed over. We landed here in Seriphos.
He wavers in his flight, loses altitude,
Perseus.
returns his muscles to a state of tension, urges his sandals to propel him upwards and forwards, and fixes his gaze on the first stars. The blue is darkening.
Keep going. Don't look back. Back is hopeless.
His mother trapped by King Polydectes on the island of Seriphos. Perseus tricked into this mission.
Bring back the Gorgon's head, and your mother's fate will be her own. I will not force her to take my hand. Bring back the Gorgon's head.
The king's fingers smoothed down his rectangular beard as his heavy-lidded eyes blinked slowly. What choice did Perseus have? He'd hesitated, was walking on the sands, crushing shells underfoot, when the first god had appeared. Hermes.
Perseus, son of Zeus, my half-brother, you shall be a hero.
He didn't look like a god. He was shorter than Perseus, more muscular, wearing ridiculous clothes, a winged hat, traveller's cloak, and holding a staff entwined by 2 snakes, his caduceus. His words were like laughter, and his eyes flickered, teased. He gave Perseus the winged sandals from his own feet, and a helmet of invisibility that came from Hades. Perseus was overcome, gratitude, astonishment. He gazed down at the magical objects. When he looked up, Hermes, the messenger god, had vanished, and he had explained nothing. Nothing at all. His flight continues. Below and to his right, he sees a dusky eagle. A good omen. He releases some tension in his body, descends so that he can follow the bird. Catches the air currents, lets himself glide. He has learnt the little he knows about flight painstakingly, a child taking his first steps. Athena gave guidance, but she gave it sparingly. She appeared just after Hermes had left. Majestic, helmeted, taller than any mortal man.
Perseus, son of Zeus, my half-brother, you shall be a hero.
She brought 3 more objects: an adamantine sword forged by Hephaestus, a round bronze shield to serve as a mirror, a light cloth bag to contain the monster's head. They call her grey-eyed Athena, but Perseus saw the inconstancy of her eyes, like the sheen of water on a winter's day, or like an owl fixing its prey, or like a blind woman seeing far into the future. How could he trust her? Yet here he is, in flight, feeling powerless as a puppet, manhandled and manipulated by higher powers. The closer he comes to Medusa's island, the more he doubts the god's benevolence. Below him, the sea has grown still. The eagle has long gone, veering abruptly away from the island's path. He should be ready for this. This is not his first task. The first returns to him unpleasantly. For just as he was tricked by King Polydectes, he in turn tricked the Grey-Eye, Medusa's strange sisters. Hermes led him to their island, then disappeared. He found the 3 sisters gathered by a cavern. They weren't old, they were timeless. Hair like foamy grey sea brine, necks like swans, skin translucent. He stole the one eye they shared, threatening them with blindness. The eye was alive, thickly veined, yellow-rimmed, viscous and heavy in his hand, blinking at him slowly, as King Polydectes had. They told him how to find Medusa, and when they asked for the return of their eye. He flew away from them, dropped the sticky sphere down into Lake Tritonis. Such a hero. Athena had told him that these creatures, like the Gorgons, were evil. So why does he regret his action now? It must be the sickness of the land, making his thoughts heavy. This island is some kind of doorway to Hades itself. He follows a trail of hundreds of stone men, Medusa's victims, Athena had called them. They lead him to the Gorgon's lair. He lands near the caves, retches into the putrid sea. He is trembling now, from exhaustion, or nausea, or fear. But heroes are fearless. He takes a deep breath in, buckles the helmet onto his head, unsheathes his sword, lifts his shield up, advances into the cave. He moves swiftly, crunches something underfoot, holds still, panic overcoming him like fever.
Keep going.
He finds a triangular opening leading to an inner cave. She is lying on her side in the darkness, an immense being, wings folded behind her, face cupped in a large bronze hand, skin scaly, iridescent, feet like talons, snakes for hair, clothed like a woman, but this is no woman. This is Medusa. He lowers his shield, removes his helmet, sits. If Medusa were to open the large slit of just one eye and look at him, look directly at him, his body will be locked in stone forever, his soul released to journey down the river Styx. She can be my death, he thinks. Such a beautiful death. He is about to lay his sword on the ground. Surrender. All at once the cave seems to fill with light. Athena is beside him. Brutally she forces him up, turns him around, guides him backwards. Reflected in his shield, he can see the Gorgon. Stirring but still sleeping. Athena pushes him to kneel on the damp earth, seizes his right arm, guides it over his left shoulder. The Gorgon's eyes open suddenly, so close. Eyes like sea waves reflected on his metal. Athena steers his hand, slicing Medusa's head clean off her body, as if it were a blade of seagrass. The Gorgon bleeds onto the earth, and events occur in quick succession. A pearl-white shape emerges from her neck, forms into the body of a perfect winged horse, Pegasus. A second shape forms into a golden giant, Chrysaor. Perseus feels the rush of their bodies as they flee the darkness of the cave. Athena bends over the body, filling 2 bottles with the blood that gushes from the Gorgon's neck. Reality slips away. Perseus has stepped into a terrible dream. Somehow, he finds himself outside again, by the sea, helmet back on his head, the bag in his hand, heavy with the weight of the Gorgon's head. Night. The moon has risen, washes the island in light. No sign of Athena, but he has the prize. Echoes and screams come from the cave. The 2 Gorgon sisters rush out. Twisted bodies, snake-haired, they seek their sister's killer. But he is invisible, standing only a breath away from them. He takes to the sky, back into the infinite blue. He is thirsty and tired. But if he stops, he fears he will never rise again.
Keep going. Don't look back.
You're a hero.
You're a hero.
A hero?
My half-brother.
My son.
He must fly westwards, back to his mother, Danaë.
Keep going.
The landscape beneath him changes. Dusty red cliffs skirt the sea. A palace sits carved in stone by the waters that growl and thunder. He continues his flight when he hears voices cry out. Now he notices the crowd dressed in yellow, and chained to the rocks, a solitary figure. A woman. Curious, compelled, he descends. Andromeda, princess of Ethiopia, looks up and sees a man hovering above her. She has already flown in her imagination. It seems almost natural to her that this man should be here now. He lands beside her, burdened with weapons, clothes grimy, lips cracked, eyes circled with fatigue. Yet, unexpectedly, those eyes take her in. Andromeda has known the care of nurses, and her parents spoke to her of love. But here, on this windswept rock, she knows just how little she has been given. This tired, battered man is the first person to ever truly see her. The waves whip and whir about them as she recounts her fate. Listen. Something is stirring in the depths of the ocean. Some creature has been summoned and is slowly rising. Perseus listens and looks deep into Andromeda's brave eyes, seeing his own reflection. The waters crash and roar, the rocks vibrate, the waves tear open. Cetus has risen. It is here. Vast, milky white mass of its body uncoils higher than the cliffs. Domed head, vast jaws, concave opalescent eyes. It rises. Sea creatures and plants attached to its pale skin, this being is a world in and of itself. Perseus flies up to the cliff top to meet the monster head-on. He pulls Medusa's head out of the bag, holds it level to the monster's sunken, cataracted, strange eyes. If the eyes are blind, will the charm work? He wonders. Cetus begins to open its ghastly jaws, then stops, as if they are locked in place. Its eyes turn grey. The milky, translucent skin turns opaque as the body begins to petrify until all of its serpentine mass is transformed, solidified. And then it shudders and cracks, and the great stone collapses against the red cliff face, sending shockwaves inland, making the onlookers flee. The rocks, the waves, the dust slowly resettle until all is stillness. Andromeda becomes aware of her own heartbeat, the moisture on her face, Perseus standing beside her. He lifts his sword, cuts through her chains, and in that moment Andromeda knows that they will marry, flee this kingdom, begin life anew. And in that moment Perseus knows that they will return to Seriphos, remove his mother from the king's grasp, return the objects to the gods, and allow Athena to claim the Gorgon's head and all its power. He reaches out to touch Andromeda, draws his hands back. They are wet with the Gorgon's blood. He walks slowly to the water's edge, and as he bends down, the blood drips into the turquoise blue. The droplets spill and swirl, forming a cloud of silky ink which dissolves onto the seaweed below, turning the dark tendrils bright orange, red, yellow, pink. The soft, feathered tentacles sway and dance in the currents. Sea fan anemones, yellow sea gorgonia, white madrepora, an ocean bed of live coral. And deep, deep in the depths, the children of the sea rejoice. For though Medusa was mortal, her blood lives on. Medusa's blood lives on, and not just in the coral. In our next episodes, discover what extraordinary things Athena does with the Gorgon's blood she took, and follow Medusa's son Pegasus on his journey. As for the other characters in this tale, they became immortal and make up the constellations of the Perseus family in the night sky. In order to honour Perseus, Athena catastrophized him along with Andromeda and Cetus. Meanwhile, Cepheus and Cassiopeia were catastrophized by Poseidon as punishment. Queen Cassiopeia sits upright on her throne and is regularly plunged head downwards towards the sea, where the Nereids can forever chastise her for her vanity. And if you want to find out even more about this saga, listen to our bonus episode, which tells you about some of the peculiar events that occurred after Perseus met Andromeda, and also fills you in on Danaë's past.